started busking a few months ago, and I've just finished my 20th busk. I documented the whole thing so I can answer the question, busking, is it worth it? And a little bit later on in the video, I'll take you through all the data, and I'm going to tell you how much I made in total, how much I made per hour, when and where I busked, how many hours I busked for. So if you are thinking about going busking and you're wondering if it's actually worth it, you're in the right place. It's been a wild ride. I've gone from this to this, and I've learned a lot along the way. But before that, let's dive into busk number 20.
I remember the time you told me, you said love is touching souls. Well, surely you touched mine, 'cause part of you bore inside of me in these lines from time to time.
I had a feeling it was going to be a good busk. It was number 20. There was something about that milestone that made me think this is going to be good.
You're in my bloodline, only wine you taste so bitter and so sweet. Oh, I could drink a case of you, darling, and I would still be on my feet. I would still be on my feet.
Busking is a beast of its own, and it cannot be tamed. Sometimes things don't go your way.
You're a little late, and I'm already tired. So guess the fortune teller's right. Should have seen just what was there and not some holy light. But you crawl beneath my veins, and now
The rain really picked up, and all of the humans disappeared, apart from this kind young man.
you're a little late, and I'm already Cheers, buddy. Appreciate that, man.
Pretty soon all the humans were gone, so I decided to hit the roads and go back to my home spot in New Brighton by the Marina Lake.
I'll be there as soon as I can, but I'm busy, melting broken pieces of the life had before.
It's always fun to play in this spot, but tonight did feel a bit cursed. There was just no one out at all, apart from a few people in the cars. It's a cool little spot because there's a row of parking spaces, so people will often sit there with the windows down and they'll be having a bite to eat or whatever, and they'll listen to you play. And it means you've got someone to talk to about the massive seagulls.
They sound insane, them, don't they? I am so high that I can hear heaven. I'm so high I can hear heaven. Oh, but heaven, no heaven don't hear me.
I was having loads of fun, but it was completely dead out. You normally get the dog walkers, but even they'd stayed in tonight.
Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. 'Cause yes, I can buy with a little love from my friends. And yes, I get high with a little love from my friends. Ooh, I'm gonna try with a little love from my friends.
I would have loved it if that was like the most I'd ever made and it was just chocker and there were some really cool moments, but it was pretty terrible. arguably one of the worst this far. There's a few nice exchanges with people, don't get me wrong. In my head, I had it that it was going to be good, but it's just too quiet. I mean, you know, the prom is absolutely dead. There's just no humans. It can only go so well when there's no humans out. I do think I need to get a card reader. What I will say for today is, and this happens every single time as long as you put the work in, I got a little bit better than I was yesterday, which I'm pretty happy with. Either way, that was Busk 20. Let's go and have a look at all of the data. I used this sheet to keep track of the date, the location, when I started and finished, how long I'd busked for, how much I'd earned, and how much I'd earned per hour, with some very simple formulas. Spreadsheets are boss. Being a nerd is cool. So, up at the top, this is my first ever busk. I was so made up to get any money at all. I couldn't believe it. I actually made 24 quid in those 2 hours. It blew my mind, to be honest. That was my very first one. And then I tried a little area a bit further up, the prom, which was pretty cool. And I made even more. I was on 17 quid 50 for that hour. So I was very happy with that. At this point, I've still got no amp. I'm just a guitar, music stand, and a guy. Then I ventured over to Nantwich, which is a nice little town. It's a little market town in Cheshire. I thought this was going to be amazing, and it was a huge flop, and I made £3 in an hour and 15 minutes. I really nearly gave up after that one. I genuinely was like, wow, the world does not want to hear this at all. And then I thought, you know what, we'll give it another go. Went back to New Brighton where I feel comfy and did a terrible busk. Just dreadful. £10 over 2.5 hours is wild. And then things got a tiny bit better, but still, let's be honest, pretty bad. And then I did my first ever 2 busks in a day. You can see these are both on the 9th of April. I busked in Liskeard from 1 till about 3ish. Got a bit of food, and then I did 5 till 7 over in New Brighton. These amounts here are the exact same as each other. That's because I basically made £71, whatever that is, over the 2 busks. I made pretty much the same in each one, but I couldn't remember specifically which was from which. So on average, they were £35 each for 2 hours each. 17 quid an hour again. So we got back up. Okay, cool. Happy with that. Then my next busk again, we ended up doing an hour and a half on £16.65 an hour. Then we've done a couple of ones that weren't as good. You can see here, some of these are just a bit too late. Well, this one was a bit later in the evening, and when you live by the beach, everything is weather dependent, right? Because here you can see I've done 7 until 8 and made just under a tenner. And then 9 days later, I've gone out 2 days on the run here because we had some like exceptionally good weather. So the beach was absolutely rammed. So I moved off the prom and I went like directly onto the beach right by the 4 Perch Rock. Really, really cool area. And it was nice and busy. So did a couple of hours there. And even though it was late, I ended up doing all right. 18, well, that was my best one so far there, wasn't it? £18.55 an hour. And then the following day was really quiet start on that one, but then ended up all right on 13 quid an hour. So then I tried my hand in Stockport, just under a tenner an hour for a couple of hours. Back to New Brighton. Tried different areas on the prom. Back to New Brighton. And then I tried Chester. The river was great. The clock tower, despite being a famous spot, was terrible. There'd been another busker just before me, and she said it was terrible, and she'd made next to nothing as well. So it was just one of those days. And back to New Brighton, doing quite well on that one. Back up to 13 quid. Sounds. Stockport and New Brighton quad seats. Both of these on the 1st of July were my 20th busk, and these are the ones that I thought were going to be amazing. My God, look at that. They are some of the worst ever. Absolutely wild, but this is why we keep data, so we can actually see what we're doing here. So the biggest problem I've got is that I busk in the evenings. I have a day job and I have 4 kids, so I have like 2 nights a week where I can go out, and I treat it as my band practice. You know, this is when I go and rehearse so that I can keep getting better, and I'm ready for gigs and things like that. So this is my rehearsal space, so let's remember that, because that is quite important. So on average, I busked for an hour, 52 minutes each time. I earned an average of £21.76p per busk. Over those 20 busks, I made a total of £435.20. And on average, I was on £11.32, which is just under minimum wage. So, busking in the evenings is not a full-time income, but it definitely helps. Over a couple of months doing something I've loved doing, I have a load of adventures and managed to pocket 400 quid. That's not bad. There are buskers that make a lot more than this. That there just is, you know. If you're in it for the money, you could definitely make more. For example, you know, like I've said, the daytime, you do a lot better. You just quite simply do. These busks here, for example, were on a little bit earlier on. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone, you know, pat their pockets down and go, sorry, I've got no change. And 100% leaving money on the table by not having a card machine. I've actually ordered a card reader. I'll do a video about that soon as well, because there's a few different ones to choose from. And I haven't chosen one of the more popular ones for a few specific reasons. So I'll do a bit of a review on that one when it turns up. So there we have it. Those are the numbers for me as a solo guy with an acoustic guitar and a vocal. Busking generally in the evenings around my job and my kids. And that's what I've done. 400 quid, over 20 busks. If you're in it for the money, you need to do better. If you're in it for the experience and for getting better, then just get out there and do it. You know, it doesn't matter what time, really. A couple of these were really quite late on. I remember one, in fact, I think it was this one here, 8 o'clock I started busking until 9:30. It was dark, you know, this is back in April. Those are the numbers. Back over to outdoors me. So, if you've plucked up the courage to go busking, good for you. You've done the right thing. I want to hear about your first ever busking story. Let me know in the comments. Or even better, film it. It is a hugely liberating thing to do, and I recommend it to any musician or performer of any kind for that matter. Next steps on my busking journey are to try out a few new places and to get a card machine. The other thing on my list was to get a lapel mic, which I have, but my batteries ran out. So, next thing on my list is get better at batteries.
We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. Stay kind, mate. Nice one.